Today I want to show you my 3-step system on how to depict a scene in such a way that it makes sense for the viewer, is easy to edit, and most importantly, you don't overshoot everything. To bring a scene to life in that way, you firstly need to understand on what's gonna happen inside of the scene. Because then you can decide on what parts you want to bring to the audience and what parts you easily can skip because they're not that relevant for your actions. And when you decided on that, you can be pretty confident about that you shot enough footage for the edit to bring everything together and you don't miss any crucial parts. Such a cappuccino is done, there are a tremendous amount of individual steps we could potentially follow, but we need to decide in advance which one of these we're gonna show and which not, to avoid spending too much time on tiny details. The example with the cappuccino can actually be applied to any scene you need to shoot. Here at the beginning of shooting, I let myself be explained quite precisely what actions are gonna happen. Then I can filter out the most important stuff and the stuff that won't make air anyway. Because then I can pre-edit the scene in my mind to shoot 30 to 40% more than I actually think is needed, just to be safe and have some wiggle room in the edit. Initially you can do more, do 40 to 60%, but don't overdo it, don't shoot twice as much as you think is needed. I approach my scenes quite systematically. I always have these 3 steps in mind, and that brings me in a position to always tell the director if we need to shoot some more or we're done here. We have everything, you can go to the edit. In the first step, I cover the wide shots. That allows me to closely observe on how the action unfolds and memorize which parts of the story I need to shoot in close-up, so that I can better explain the story to the viewer. In step 2, I will ask the protagonist to do the same actions over again. As I have observed in step 1, I know exactly when and where my close-ups that I really need will happen. This way I can collect other images around it and mostly have the story unraveled after these 2 steps so that it works wonderfully in the edit. I use the 3rd step to get all the images I wasn't able to get in step 2 or step 1. So I do it all over again. Or in order to not overheat any minds, only parts of it. However, it often helps to do the whole plot. It often goes faster as your protagonists are more confident that way. The 3rd step is also perfect to shoot some small helpers like reflections or more abstract images that you can distribute all over the scene. The editor is usually pretty thankful for these kind of B-roll shots because he can cover up some inconsistencies in the story. These are my 3 pillars to easily cover a scene. It sometimes makes sense to shoot the close-ups first, especially when they really only work once and can't be repeated. So shoot the close-ups first and then cover the rest if necessary. As long as you keep these 3 pillars in mind, you can mix them up as you please. Even if you use the system to near perfection, it might happen to you that you miss a shot or need some additional footage or music, sound effects, motion graphics. Then the sponsor of today's video might be quite right for you. I'm talking about Motion Array. They have thousands of different assets you can download and use in your videos, and to bring the extra pop to your videos, they've recently teamed up with Madrid-based illustrator and graphics designer Milan, and they bring you the Set It Off template collection. You can just download it and use these wonderful motion graphics in your own videos. I've been using Motion Array for my own content for quite some time now, and I can recommend them to everyone because they have these filters in place where it makes it so easy for you to find the perfect match for your own video and content. Also, the stock footage isn't these generic high-key shots of someone smiling. They actually have artists in place. They provide them with wonderful footage you can use in your own videos. And with all of these things combined in one platform, it makes putting finishing touches on your video just a breeze. So if you ever need any asset for your own videos, just check them out and get yourself the Set It Off collection. You've seen it throughout the video. If you've liked it, I have all the links in the description below. Now back to the topic. Too often have I experienced situations that only work once happened without me being able to shoot them properly. The protagonist didn't get that I need to be somewhere else before she opens the barn doors and all the cattle storms out and I'm stuck in the corner screwed. Therefore, think carefully about situations that only happen once, do them first, focus on them and push everything you can do later to the end. In my experience, it's much easier to perform a scene 3 times completely than trying to piece it together. When I tell a protagonist, I only need you opening this bottle, what most likely will happen is... Of course, that doesn't help me at all. I need this fluent movement of unscrewing the cap and then directly going into the next action, because otherwise it's completely uneditable. So I just tell him, pour yourself some more tea, and he will do the motion fluently and you can get all the shots you need. I would love to hear how you approach a scene, to start a conversation in the comments below. We're all here to learn from each other and your input would be highly appreciated. Now, there are scenes that are completely chaotic and we can't plan them well, let alone shoot everything 3 times. But the system can still help you a little bit. When you have it in mind, you can actually do all the 3 steps at once. Then you start with the wide shot, quickly zoom in, catch a little snippet, go back out to a medium shot, and that way you can do everything simultaneously. And if you've done all the 3 steps, you essentially covered the scene pretty well. In most cases, no matter how stressful the situation is, you will be able to add step 3 at the end when the stress has mostly subsided. A very good example would be a dog receiving an injection by a vet. And now you have in front of you a very stressful situation. No matter how well you've planned it, you maybe won't be able to see the syringe getting drawn up and the hand patting the dog. But after the dog is not that stressed anymore and the vet has calmed down, he should be calm all the way, but maybe he's stressed a little bit because of you shooting him. And then you'd be able to put your step 3 at the end and cover up all the inconsistencies that happened to you because it was such a stressful situation. And you shoot the syringe again, you shoot the hand patting the dog, you shoot the table, you do some reflections, and then in the edit it will come out perfectly. So in stressful situations, focus more on step 1 and 2 and do step 3 calmly at the end. And to make more sense out of this system, just try to apply it. Just take any scene like I did with the coffee, shoot it in the way I did, and then you bring it into your editing software and fiddle around with your shots, put them together, and then you will see which shots you really need, which ones you like, where you would have liked to shoot more, and which go directly to the bin. And that way you can feel pretty confident on your next reel shoot on which shots to get and which you can easily skip. If any of these tips were helpful for you, I would highly appreciate a like, or if you even subscribe to my channel. And let me quickly introduce myself. I'm Gidon Lasch, DOP from Munich, Germany, shooting documentaries, image and corporate stuff. If you want to see more of me explaining something about gear or telling my misconceptions about how to shoot anything, just go right here. And yeah, see you next time.